All right, so let's look at this part of the garden. This is an experiment here with melons, okay? So part of my Back to Eden experiment was, where am I going to put these melons? Melons like to have, 20 feet, 30 feet vines. And of course you could do them like vertical, which would probably be a great idea to do, but I can't use nylon string. I'd have to get those cattle panels and something sturdy that I could then tie it up with and hold them. But if you look at some of my earlier videos, when I put these things in about April, May, boy, these plants were like tiny. I thought they were just going to die. I mean, if you go back and look at them, they didn't look good. But then all of a sudden, they just kicked into high gear. These melons are doing so well. And they're vining all over the place and getting into everybody else's business, so to speak. Now, if you come with me, I'll show you. We never did melons, never had this kind of success. But, as I make sure I don't step on anything, look at that. Look at this little guy here hidden, right? Because these are cantaloupes and honeydews and icebox watermelons that we've got all up and down here. And this one is, I'd have to look at, this looks green, so it looks like a honeydew. But it's vining in and around the peppers and all that, which is fine. And everybody can live nicely together here. And they are starting to trellis up with the cucumbers. It's like, what part is cucumber and which part is melon? But look at here. Boy, I was reluctant to kind of move them and clean up. I don't want to step on anything. But if you can look here, there is what's trellising up here on the fence is a baby melon just starting there and a melon starting there. And let's see if I can balance myself. There's another melon hiding here amongst the other ones. So I got lots of little melon that are starting to climb up here, and I don't want to move them, so I'll just let them do their thing, and I'll try to trellis up the plant. So yeah, back there, if you notice, it looks like a melon growing. It's kind of hard to see, I know, but there's little baby melons. Now there could, let me see if I can zoom in. There they are. Now I don't know whether the plant can support all that, but we'll see. We'll see what shape and all that they get in, but this one area here's got all these melons, crazy. And then I put another melon plant here, and as you can see, it's starting to trellis up and around. I don't see any flowers here on this one. I mean, melons, there's lots of flowers, but nothing here, so I'm letting them go. This guy's trellising and through the raspberries here. Let me see if I can't move this a little bit. I don't want him to come in here. Let go of that raspberry. He can go across the back. Okay. Raspberries are doing okay. Here's some raspberries here. They're yellow. They're Queen Anne's. So they're starting to develop in this very young plant. I do have the wood chips here, so we keep the ground moister. See, if you push this back, you can see that the ground is definitely moister. So that's good. It retains even in, look, we're getting 100 degrees heat, and this is full sun. So, got to keep them alive. Now, what I need to do is I put a few of the canes in earlier in the spring. And they're growing, which is fine. But what I really need to do is put in some more canes, I think, to really kick it into gear. Because by the time these spread out, I probably went too skimpy on just getting a couple canes. I can fill it out. More melon, folks. So look at this one. Oh, look at this. Look at this one. Look at that cantaloupe. That guy is just about ready. And he's hidden here, right? I mean, I don't want to make him fall off his vine yet, but ooh, that feels heavy. And he's hidden here by these leaves because I don't want the rabbits or squirrels or anybody to see what we got, and they'll eat it all up before I get to it. And boy, I think that's so close. I mean, it's heavy. If you pick this up, it's like, wow, that's heavy for its size, but I think it's supposed to come off kind of more naturally when it's done, so I don't want to touch it. Next to it is strawberries, and they're getting bigger. Strawberry plants are getting bigger. The heat, of course, is, they take the heat, but it'll spread out and they get some flowers. So we'll see what will happen with the strawberries here. The white strawberries that I transplanted, the initial vines died back, but I think the root is still good at the bottom. So we'll see if this can come back. If not, I'll put some more out there. But I think these are still okay, even though they took a shock by being moved from their container. This is a cantaloupe plant, and as you can see, as I let this guy go, there is also a cantaloupe, folks, right there. This is really the surprise of the garden this year, because we've never had any of this success. And you'll notice that the vines are going just all over. I mean, ooh, this one's all over my strawberries now. Let me move him out of the way. Why don't you stay in your own lane, so to speak. And here's a weed. Let me pull that weed. Okay, it's vine. Oh, and this one over here, as I make sure I don't trip, you'll notice that there's a nice cantaloupe growing right there. It started to get into the blackberry bed, and it rested there and says, I'm growing a cantaloupe. Perfect. I'll let him grow too. So far visually, that's at least, it's like a UFO sighting. That's at least 2 confirmed cantaloupe, and probably 3 or 4 cantaloupes. I mean, a honeydew cantaloupe, right? And then he's vining through right down the line here. And I guess, once they grow a fruit, you're supposed to clip the end to put the energy back in the fruit. That makes sense. I haven't done that. Now back here, I've let this watermelon grow. And there's one right there. And there's one right there. And the one that's hidden is right here. You can see he's hidden, right? Now, hopefully, any sort of animal, it's camouflage and they don't see it. But he is starting to grow into the blackberry bed. And he's also growing more watermelon. So, let's see if we can trellis this about. I don't want him, it's okay if he wants to come in here, I guess, but I don't want him to kill the blackberry cane. But it is vining on it. So we'll have to play around it. Oh my God, look, there's another one there that is growing. So we might have to do a little organization here to make sure it doesn't get out of hand, which I guess is too late. But hey, this is one of the successes of the garden this year, that we've had melon. We've never had melon, and when we did, they got eaten by the squirrels way before we ever got to it. And so this year, the squirrels don't come to this side of the garden. And the rabbits we've seen in the neighborhood seem to not come in here either. And there is hawks that were flying around here this morning. Maybe they'll be our protector of the watermelon patch. So as I can't see it, he was out here earlier. Can't see him, but they're looking. Anyways, how's this part of the garden doing? It's the sweet potatoes. Oh boy. Yeah, the sweet potato vines are kicking into high gear. Got to make sure that they get up here and trellis like they did last year. Right? They're going this way and that way. And if I can, I know it's kind of hard here as I'm filming and holding a vine. But if I can kind of say, nope, go up the trellis, folks, you'll be way better. They're like a big solar panel, these damn things. They'll take in all the heat all year long. And like last year, November, we picked pounds and pounds of sweet potatoes grown in the container. Now how will they do in the raised bed? Now, the damn sunchokes are really crazy. I intentionally planted sunchokes here on this side of the raised bed, and they're growing big and strong. Right, here they are, big and strong. And then the ones in the gap between this raised bed and the end of this one, there's a space here. The dirt had sunchokes in there, and these are the ones that opportunistically grew. So let them grow. Let them grow. It creates a big jungle, doesn't it? And look, here's the watermelon trellis, and he wants to get some height here. Let me see if I can't point them around. These things have a mind of their own. It's going to cut off my walking space here, right? And the mulch here has been doing good. There's some weeds that have kind of come through that I want to cut and pick and pull out. So we'll have to do some weeding here. Alright, as I make my way over here to this side, you can see that the blackberries really been doing well. There's a lot of little green blackberries here. This one is the one with the thorns. I wish I didn't have the ones with the thorns because they get you every time, but they have produced some good big blackberries this year. Not a ton, but I think it's because of I transplanted these from a container, and I think they're just getting reestablished here. I gotta set up these canes to you know, be a little bit more sturdier. Probably cut back the ones that are done. These are new varieties which basically have like 2 seasons with the canes, and so they've been doing pretty good, but now that they're out of the container I expect them to get more established. But I'll probably need to they get really high, and I need to get something that's a little bit higher than these green stakes. Maybe I'll use my electrical conduit and make a better staking system for sure. These here are getting established, even though the melons are invading them. They're getting established and doing well. I still got the blue potatoes in there. I remember, if you've seen the earlier videos, I picked the white potatoes. The blue potatoes, there's still some green leaves there. I think they're going to be ready to be picked. I think also probably on the smaller end, but we'll do that, and we'll have that video. These sunchokes here are just doing their thing. Yeah, so for this side of the garden, not too bad. I'm waiting for these Italian cucumbers to get established. They're kind of like more squash and cucumber, really. They get really long, almost kind of similar to like an Armenian cucumber, although these are more in the zucchini squash family. The heat, you know, is intense here, and hopefully they're starting to get those second leaves and get established. Then I got some cucumbers here, and I got to put a trellis here for this. So they're going to start vining, and I'm going to have to get me a trellis set up. Oops, don't step on this vines as I'm walking here. But yeah, the cucumbers, you can see that some of the leaves are getting a little weather beaten. The sun is intense here, folks. I hope that they can withstand that and get established. If they die out, I'll just do more seeds and put them out here. But if you'll notice, I got a lot of space here for other plants, so I'm probably going to put some tomatoes or some other things here too, because I got the space for them. And I'm reluctant to plant anything right now in July because I'd like a second fall harvest. So this might be good, as I watch where I'm walking. This might be good for kind of the second season growing. This side gets all the sun, so as the temperatures drop, it'll still get the sun. The plants should do better in a cooler, sunnier spot. So that's what these 2 beds are going to be, is for the future garden. And, you know, we always got room for more, don't we? So, okay, folks, so that's this side of the garden. Let's do another video showing the other side of the garden.